you surprised by what Cam's doing?
I'm a little surprised. When again, the one incompletion was the drop. Max, you want to go first? Or, I got this if you want me to.
I mean, I was not surprised. So what would you rather hear about?
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I was a bit surprised because I got to tell you, to almost be perfect is not something I ever expect to hear associated with Cam's passing ability. Again, I am one that has revered his athleticism, his athletic prowess, his heart, his leadership ability, how players rally around him, how they love playing with him, how they love having him as a teammate, et cetera, et cetera. The only thing that I've decried over the years is his inaccuracy. I don't think that he's the most accurate thrower in the world. He certainly didn't look that way last night. His passes were pinpoint, like Sal Palantonio said. The one incompletion was a drop. I mean, when you look at the way he was moving the offense, played 3 series, got a touchdown score, was near perfect, obviously, pretty close to perfect. I look at that Cam Newton, and I say that's an aberration. If that Cam Newton is the dude that we're going to be seeing throwing a football like that, then Mac Jones ain't going to be playing this year. It's just that simple. I just don't anticipate that will be the case. As good as Cam Newton has played the 1 year when Norv Turner was his offensive coordinator in Carolina, and he completed nearly 68% of his passes. Last year, he completed 65% of his passes. Obviously, it was a tough season because of COVID and everything else. For the most part, though, in his career, he's hovered around being a 60% completion passer. And so for me, that's not that impressive. Anytime I see him throwing a football accurately on a consistent basis, I think that is an aberration. It's a bit of a surprise, but I'm happy to see it because I'm certainly not rooting against him. I'm rooting for him. I just don't think it's something that you can depend on consistently. That's why I was a bit surprised by what I saw last night, but pleasantly so.
I was not surprised at all. I've been trying to tell people, Stephen A., it's the old Roy Jones song, remember? Y'all must have forgot. Y'all must have forgot. Y'all must have forgot Cam Newton. People are acting like he's a bum. Cam Newton was the MVP of the NFL, took a team to the Super Bowl. And that was not his best passing season.
That's right.
To your credit, that season, afterward, I said, he's an elite quarterback. He said, I want to see that more consistently. And he wasn't consistent enough. Until, and you mentioned it, they went and got Norv Turner as his offensive coordinator. And all of a sudden, Cam Newton was having the best passing season of his career. He still had his physical gifts. They were winning until he got hurt. He was ascending until he got hurt. And what we have seen since then has never been Cam Newton because he was hurt. He missed the season. He came back off of catastrophic injury in a COVID year to a new team where they had 9 defections off the defense because of COVID, off the defense, where the offense was so bereft of talent that Tom Brady finally said, I can't take it anymore, right? Hey, Bill Belichick, you're not drafting offensive talent. You're not spending the money when I redo my deal to get me weapons. I can't take it anymore. I got to go. And on that team, Cam Newton, think back to the Seattle game that he lost. Remember when Bobby Wagner made that goal line play? How did Cam Newton look in that game? Because that was one of the crispest games I felt was played last year. And Cam and Russell Wilson both looked like superstars. I wouldn't say Russell Wilson looked better than Cam. Cam looked great. And then he got COVID. So no preseason, no practice, facility shut down, and the man himself got COVID. And then he suffered from what everyone calls a COVID fog. And we speculated about that based on his play after he got COVID before he even said anything about it. So it was apparent to us. Still, 2 plays away from 9-7. Now he has that experience under his belt. He comes in, there is practice. There is a preseason. He was ascending before he got hurt, and he's still Cam Newton. We're treating him like he's just a guy. He is not a jag. He is a former MVP, and he will not go quietly. I was not surprised by that performance.
He is a former MVP, Max, who has given us moments of being just another guy. That is the reality of the situation. Let's take into account his Super Bowl season because you bring up the year he won league MVP. It was the same year they went 15-1 and went to a Super Bowl before Von Miller and those boys in Denver handled their business and Carolinas in the Super Bowl. That year, Max Kellerman, yes, Cam Newton threw. I got the numbers right here in front of me. He threw for 3,837 yards, had 35 touchdowns and 10 interceptions, Max Kellerman, okay? He completed 59.8% of his passes. 59.8%. That same year, Max, he ran the football 8 0.25 times, 8.25 times per game. Had 16, had like, I'm talking 16 games. He had like 636 yards rushing. So he had, and scored 10 touchdowns via the run. This dude was establishing himself as a guy who was a dual threat, and everybody knew it because Cam could run over you, he could run around you, okay? Plus, he could throw the football a little bit, and we understood that. What I religiously stated about him, take accuracy throwing the football out of the equation, and everything else about him as a football player, you absolutely have to love and marvel at. But he plays the quarterback position, and at some point in time, the accuracy, your ability to be accurate and complete passes has to matter. And so, yes, 2 of the last 3 seasons that he's played, it's been highly respectable because it's been above 65% completion. And I get all of that. But when you've spent the vast majority of your career not being that accurate, and then somebody like Mac Jones comes from Alabama as a reigning national champion, okay? And by the way, who can throw that football and looks Tom Brady-esque per se, looks very comfortable standing in that pocket and flinging that football. And you hear those footsteps. It's a credit to Cam that Cam has stepped up to the challenge and has answered the call. The real question we're asking is, do you believe it's something that he can do consistently enough
for a year
to ward off Mac Jones for the year?
Yeah,
and I don't know about that yet.
For a year or 2, maybe? I don't know. Like, he's going to hit listen.
Hold on. I'm definitely not saying 2.
I'm
only saying now. I don't think that
Cam
will even be there next year.
He's going to hit a rough patch at some point this year, and there will be a controversy. There'll be calls for Mac Jones, and I don't know that Belichick ever goes to Mac Jones. The thing about Cam is, look, you're going to run Josh McDaniels' offense. You're going to run a Bill Belichick offense with no tight ends, which is basically what they did last year. They had no talent. They spent a lot of money, and 2 of the main targets were 2 talented veteran tight ends, right? That's going to make a big difference for Cam.